What up, what up, what up? You tuned into the Jose Morales podcast where we talk sports, business, and everything in between. I'm your host, Jose Morales, and we're at my boxing academy. Joining me in the ring today is probably one of the most impact persons during my boxing career for a lot of reasons. Him and I started boxing literally at 1 day apart.
Literally.
1 day apart. So we grew up together in boxing.
And I was trying to think about earlier today. We're 14, 13, somewhere?
Yeah, let me give him your name. I didn't even say your name. My boy, Stevie Super Rapadas, baby. And when I say that, by the way, it always reminds me of when we were kids and you love Sab Judah.
Loves that still to this day.
Yeah. Why did you love Sab Judah so much?
Man, I think it was just the culture that he brought. A lot of people don't remember. A lot of people.
Sab Judah was raw.
Zab was raw, right?
He was fucking good.
But me and you know Zab went undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
I remember him. I was talking about Zab before Mayweather, and it was like Zab was the whole movement at that weight class, and he was just popular. He was in the rap videos. He was just the guy that you've seen, because he actually rolled with who were those guys, BMF, all those guys. So it was just like, man, I'm attracted to him, and trained by his dad, Joel, and just boxing. I mean, he was a good Olympic boxer, but an alternate at that. But, it's just, yeah.
So, Stevie and I started boxing together, grew up together. We went different routes for a little bit, separated. One thing, I'm going to go over our history, obviously, and then we're going to go into his story because he now has his boxing gym now, Midtown Fitness, that you've been having it now for how long? How many years?
Sure, I think a little over 4 years.
A little bit over 4 years. A beautiful gym, by the way. I love the way it looks. I love the location.
Thank you.
The location's dope, the where it's at. Tell us a little bit about your gym, bro. Tell us what Midtown Fitness is like. What's the vision for it? Tell us about Midtown Fitness.
Man, just trying to grow every single day in business, and I think that's the crazy thing. A lot of people, they're like, what do you do? And I don't know, but I really don't. I don't think there's of course there's a game plan, of course, but we're going to make 10 different game plans and one of them is going to succeed. Just like Kyle was saying earlier, if you're failing, you're really succeeding, and we probably look stupid at a lot of things we do, and we're like, oh, that wasn't too smart, but
that's how you learn.
We will, at the finished product, it's going to look okay. Like, how'd that guy know that? Because I failed first. And, I'm just learning, continuing to learn every single day in business, trying to get better, sharper, little details. Yeah.
How did Midtown Fitness come about? What made you want to do that? What made you want to have a gym? Tell me about that.
Well,
how was the process? Give us a process. Like, how did you, because it's different to open up a gym.
Yeah.
Right? And not just a gym, a business. It's difficult. What was that process like for you? What was that like?
I think for the first time in my life, I hit a spot because I was signed by Don King, lived in Florida, came back. All of a sudden, my boxing career wasn't working. And I was like, what do I do with life?
Yeah.
And fortunately, I have good people around me.
Yeah.
I was able to meet a lot of good people who genuinely love me. And they were like, well, let's help you get a gym.
That's tight.
And I was kind of like, yeah, right. I just didn't vision it. I just didn't see myself doing it. I didn't know. But, yeah, I would rather be doing nothing else. And it kind of just fit place. I feel like me and you both grew up in a culture that obviously changed our life for the better. But also we had so many good people that we met through boxing. And it was almost like it's meant to be. We have to give it back because we were in that system. We know what this helps with. I mean, this is a sport. It's not a sport. It's changed lives. And just like you said earlier, I love the way you put it. It's not a sport. You can't play it. You have to live it.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
I think boxing will change everyone's life in any form of way. Professional, amateur, just spar once or just train. You're going to learn something
about yourself. About yourself. It is true.
That's how you know you've been in too long.
Yeah, it is. It's about yourself. You can't lie about it. No. You can't say you learn. It keeps you honest, bro. Like, you've been a lazy motherfucker. It shows you're a lazy motherfucker. And you'll straight up bust yourself out like, damn, I haven't been running. I haven't been this. I haven't been that. That's what's tight about it.
Yeah.
I like that, man. So Stevie and I started boxing one day apart. We had our very first fight together.
Yeah.
Not against each other, but the same day.
Yeah.
It was you, me, and Ross. Never forget that day. It was
Did
in
Mario
Chico.
fight that day as
Mario
well?
ended up not fighting. Remember,
fighting, okay.
there wasn't a guy, but we
Yeah.
had our crew of that we all boxed together. It was another guy, Mario Ayala. By the way, we give mad love to him. He was a pro boxer.
Yeah.
He was that day. He was supposed to fight that day to his first fight, but he ended up not fighting. It was just Ross, which is in Vegas. Have you talked to Ross?
I have not. Tell me.
I talked to Ross like a year ago.
Okay.
And he was he's actually a trainer in Vegas,
Wow.
and he still boxes.
Beautiful. Like pro amateur still or
I think when I talked to him, I think he was pro,
cool.
or I think he was training for his pro fight or something along pro. But for me, that I remember, I mean, when I was a kid, I remember Ross had the more like pure talent. Like Ross was talented, bro.
Easy. Easy. Like
Out of all of us, he was the most talented motherfucker out of all of us. Just naturally,
by far.
the way he looked,
Yeah.
athletic. He ran track. He played football. That motherfucker was just talented.
Yeah.
I think you and I had to work a little harder. We didn't have as much natural talent. We were talented, but Ross had the figure, everything. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Where I'm going
I think that's a beautiful thing about boxing though. You could have all that,
Mhm.
but how bad do you
want
want
it?
And
Exactly.
I think that's with me and you. Mentally, you ain't beating us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to kill us to walk out of here.
Yeah. And that, bro, that's the thing I loved about you in the gym. We would go to war, bro.
Every day.
Hey, we would fuck each other up.
Yeah.
Even after we left separated gyms, we would meet each other. We would meet up with each other and spar. Because I remember we had our first fight, and then that's when I switched gyms,
Yeah.
and then you switched.
Yeah.
You went to Mateen's.
Yeah.
I was at the center, and then throughout that time, we would always just talk to each other as far as like what we were doing.
Yeah. You know, and I would see you, a couple, local fights.
Yeah.
Seeing at the gloves, what you doing.
Yeah,
the
it was
spar,
tight.
you
Yeah,
know?
it was tight.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, what I like about it is we were competitive. You could tell we were competing with each other, but it was love at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, that's my boy.
Yeah. And
It-
when you've been in the ring with somebody so many times,
Yeah.
it's like, that's my dog.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
like, yeah.
You've had your good days, I've had mine, and it's
Mhm.
just, like, bro, it is what it is,
Yep.
you know?
That's the thing, yeah, because we did definitely always beat the fuck out of each other, and it was always back and forth. So give us. I want to get people familiar with Stevie Rapadas. Who is Steven? Who are you? What you are? Where you grew up? Tell us about you. How can people know you? Tell me your story. Where were you born? Where were you raised?
So I'm
Talk to us.
born and raised in Sacramento.
Mhm.
Love Sac. I'm here. Grew up in the North area. Gardenland specifically. A lot of people know about it. Northgate more.
Mhm.
Northgate Boulevard over there. Always a local kid. Started boxing at our local gym right there in Del Paso.
Mhm.
I was a amateur boxer, back in the day, and ended up being signed with Don King one day, and thought, life was made. Got to learn a lot of stuff.
I remember that. I remember when you got signed by Don King. I was like, "What, fucking my man!" I saw the picture and the video with you and Don King.
Yeah.
What was that like, bro? You were Don. What? Tell us when you first met him. When you first met Don King, what was that like for you? Were you
First met him in
right.
Vegas. It
Uh-huh.
was I want to say an Abner Mares fight.
Mhm.
He flew me in and just got to meet him. And I got to hang out with Bermain Stavern. A lot of people maybe not
Yeah,
know, but he
I
was
know.
he was actually
heavyweight, right?
contending to be fighting for the WBC. Yeah, I mean he lost to Wilder, but this was months before all that.
Yeah.
And it was my first man, this is the life. This is okay. Nice hotel. Just watching the press conference, got to be around Don King, which I thought was just awesome. And man, I want to say Don was 84, 85 years old. I mean, dude was old, And I thought life was made. And a lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about Don King. I have not one. Always treated me respectfully. Of course, I'm not making millions of dollars. Never did. So I was not on that total scale of, the Tyson stuff and the Ali stuff that, he robbed, but I can tell you this, from knowing him personally, from staying at his house, he took care of me in Florida, all the above, good dude.
Yeah. How long were you in Florida?
Just 8 months. I actually,
what were you doing? You were training?
First got signed. We went out there, lived in like a fighter camp, trained with a guy named Stacy out there, who actually was one of Tyson's former trainers. And it was just the best sparring I was ever getting. I was meeting a lot of fighters, and it was awesome. Well, the problem was I still got bills here in Sacramento. I had a car bill, and King was giving us $800 a month, which would, that's nothing. You know what I mean? So it would just be like, man, I can't really do this anymore. So I came back, and
why do you have bills here if you weren't here?
Well, because I had a car here. I didn't take it to Florida. Then you got a cell phone bill, and you just realize $800 goes quick.
Shit, yeah, especially living.
Yeah, but you're young. I'm 21, 22, so I was just trying to make it. Just trying to make it. And it's funny because it's like, yeah, here I am being signed, but I'm living in a, bedroom and a house.
Yeah. But I think that's one of the things people don't realize, that boxers, really at the beginning, you don't make a lot of money. You're not making, it sounds good, but you ain't making millions. There's a small percentage that makes millions. Yeah. Not every pro boxer is making millions.
And I got to meet a lot of former fighters back there in Florida, like Shannon Briggs used to hang out every day at the gym. And it was like, I think he does okay. I'm not going to, but this guy fought for $1 million at one time, millions of dollars at one time. Yeah, but you learn that. And the contract of it, a lot of people don't realize, you may be signed, but you have to fight out of being signed, to really make good money. And for you to do that, the chances are very tough. For boxing, everything has to go right.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it. Everything has to go right. Yeah, you're right.
It just has to. And that's why I tell people it's not really yes, obviously you have to be talented, but it's more staying consistent than anything. And every day you feel like it's failing. Every day you're like, man, should I keep doing this? Shouldn't I just go back and get a 9 to 5, or shouldn't I? This is what I need to start doing. And but you're young enough to, accept the challenge and continue to grow. And
but you never actually fought under Don King, huh?
Man, I was supposed to fight on 3 different cards, bro. 3 different cards.
I do remember that. What happened?
I think the first one was at the Gallon Center, ESPN. The guy just failed his physical there. And I'm like, so we're not fighting? Nah. And then I remember hanging out with Don. I actually ate dinner with Don King that night. And he was like, I'm going to put you on the Remain Wilder card. Will you be ready? And I was like, well, of course. I'm ready right now, That was a weird thing because I was matched up against a guy who was also signed with Don King. And my coach was a very integrity person. And he was pissed off. And we got in the room and talked with King, and we were like, what's going on? And he was just like, you guys are fighting for your contract. Pretty much like, who's staying, who's going? And I'm like, all right. This was a 1-0 kid. I think his name was I couldn't even remember. Maybe Dwayne Ziegler or something like that. An Ohio kid, Cincinnati, Ohio. And he had pictures with like Bronner and all the people, because I was doing my research and stuff. And I was like, all right, this is typical. Don King's from Ohio fighter, and this is who I'm fighting. So he told me pretty much, this is boxing. You got to step up. My coach didn't like it. Either did I, of course, after waiting for so long. So that was it pretty much. I ended up just going home. Supposed to show up at weigh-ins. I ended up just going home, and never got a call again from Don King. Never got contacted. Wrote emails, called. No calls back. And I think that's the definition of boxing is you are replaceable. You are replaceable. Steve, John, Jim, there is 10 of you that will take that fight right now, no matter what. So who are you to think you can do anything? You know what I mean? Until you make that name of yourself where you have that, then yeah.
Actually, funny you brought replaceable. I was just talking to Ricky about this. And I had it on the recap. I talked about how everyone's replaceable.
Yeah.
Everyone. And it could be husband, wife, job, boss. Anybody is replaceable at any point. And that, again, that's another point why I tell you boxing teaches everything about life, because like how you said, instantly they were like, we'll replace you. It don't matter if you don't want to do it or not. You're replaced. Same with life. I mean, shit. Everyone could get replaced at an instant. So the moment you start thinking you're irreplaceable and you start thinking you're not replaceable and that no one could take your spot, no, you quit thinking like that because somebody would take that shit.
Especially in boxing or sports, it's just you.
Yeah, there's people waiting. So from there, that's when you headed back. You came back.
And then I was like, man, what am I gonna do with life? I knew nothing else but boxing at a certain point, and luckily, the foundation that we do have is being around boxing. I mean, we should teach it. We should be around it. We should be around kids, helping them, and just it allows us to be the people that I think we are. It's not a 9-to-5, but it's more than a 9-to-5. It's a lifestyle that I love, and I know I can do it forever.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah,
for sure.
And
damn, that's crazy. So you came back, got the gym, and now you have the gym for 4 years. Mm-hmm. How was the whole COVID time for you? I know it affected everybody. I know gyms, it had to be crazy.
Yeah, especially where I'm at.
Yeah,
because I'm connected to a diner.
Oh, yeah, Rick's.
So a lot of gyms were still doing their thing. I was not. I was not, like, for a good period of time. But then it came to a period of time, like, I got to keep my kids focused. I got to keep, I got kids that dream of national championships. I got kids that's all they think about every day, like us as kids. And so I had to put them on some type of track, like some type of focus. We got to stay consistent. We got to do what we have to do at the end of the day. No matter what goes on in life, you still got to, you got to stick to something.
Yep.
So Monday, we just opened up. And it felt just, weight off your shoulders, like, okay, let's rock. And I was actually, because me and you talked, I was like, man, should I cancel on Jose? I got a lot going on. But then I was like, nah, if you really want to do something, you make it happen. Yeah. And it was the definition of that. It was like, nah, I got to make it happen. You know what I mean?
Oh, so you had a whole bunch of shit going on
just work
today.
picked up all of a sudden,
Yeah, because right now it's crazy busy, bro.
Yeah, well, I had clients, hey, I'm ready to get back. When can I come? Yeah. And usually I train on Saturdays. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I got stuff to do. But
hey, bro, thank you for coming.
But that's the definition, I think, of how we boxing wise, like,
mentality.
Yeah, if you got something to do, you do it.
Another thing I was telling Ricky today, I hear it all the time. The one excuse I cannot stand, someone tells me why they couldn't come to the gym as kids, is I didn't have a ride. My dad couldn't take me. My mom couldn't take me. I fucking hate that excuse. That's the lamest fucking excuse. Tell me something else, please. Don't tell me that. And the reason why I brought it up is like Ricky would, because I rode the bus to the fucking gym. Like that's how I got to the gym. I remember. I'm like, that was my fucking transportation, bro. I didn't have no one picked me up, no one dropped me
off.
And
you were from
I was coming from the north area, like North Highlands area.
Okay, yeah.
So I was coming from over here.
Yep.
And that was my transportation. So when someone tells me I don't have a ride, that shit fucking drives me nuts because I made a way. And then Ricky was like, well, you got to remember, not all kids have that same mentality, or they don't have that same, they're not that resourceful where they could catch a bus.
Do you look back at that and say, man, I was just so determined at that time? Like, how did I do that?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Yeah. I was determined, bro. That's how much I loved. I was obsessed with boxing. It was an obsession. It wasn't a love or like. I fucking was obsessed with it. I feel that now that's what very few people have. They'll find so many things to be the obstacle to not get through to the other side. Mm-hmm. And the way I explained it to Ricky today was these kids that tell me their parents couldn't bring them, if they really wanted to come, they will find a way. If I told them, be here at 9 a.m. and you get a fucking Xbox with a game, your ass would be here. I guarantee you they would call everybody. They would fucking find a way here. They wouldn't be like, okay, Dad, can you take me? No, okay, it's it. I can't make it. They would keep asking. They would find a way because that's how bad they want the Xbox.
Yeah.
They don't have that same need for training. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to give a fuck about it.
No.
And that's the mentality we have because we were brought up like that.
Oh,
well, we never miss a day.
No, I mean, not only that, if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
We were
We were there all
hours
night.
before we were
And
even
we
supposed to
stayed
work
there
out.
hours after.
It was our life.
Yeah, we lived there.
Yeah.
That was our fucking life. That was everything.
Yeah.
But it shows. I mean, it paid off. We got a lot of places. And the one thing that I love about it so much is it's crazy how we all started together, and we all are still doing something with boxing.
Which is crazy because,
Isn't that tight?
man, I remember. I think we should talk about Angelo Nunez. Like that's our first trainer, and we used to ask him like, "How good are all four of us?" You remember?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, you know, and he was like, "You guys are all right." You know?
Yeah.
and probably looking back to this day, he's probably just telling that because if he told us we were good, we'd be like, "Oh, we did good. We're done."
Yeah.
All four of us or whoever we did box with, like that was a nasty crew.
No,
That was
we
a nasty
did.
crew.
We
Like,
had we had a squad, bro.
Yeah,
I like that too.
yeah. And
We all did something, bro.
yeah, and still to this day.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
what I'm saying. We all did something.
Yeah. And we're talking 17 years later. You
Yeah.
know, we've been in this sport longer than we've, you know, more than half our life.
Yeah.
And but it's awesome, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you as well, you see a lot of stuff that's like, you know, like Instagram to me has changed
Oh yeah.
boxing, and not only that, I feel like
Fighters,
just kids in general
People,
these days.
everybody, social
you know?
media.
It's like you take
Hell
a
yeah.
picture and you got some boxing gloves on, you're a boxer, but you never fought.
Mm-hmm.
You've been maybe you just signed up in boxing, which I respect it. Don't get me wrong, but the morals of some stuff has went away.
Yeah.
You know, but you know we did it at a different level.
Yeah,
And,
it is very different.
yeah.
Hella different. What do you remember from the time we were at different gyms?
from the
Is there
time we
anything
were at
that you
different gyms.
remember?
You know, I don't know. You gotta tell me.
All right,
Bring
one
something
of
up
my
to me.
favorite memories, to me personally, it was the very first fight I had where you guys were there. I think you were still with, because Mike was there, Fabian was there, and I think it was the Silver Gloves,
Mhm.
and we both fought that day.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
You remember?
yeah. You're talking us kids. They were kids.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually the first time we both fought without being together.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Without being on the same team. And to me, that day was hella tight to me because I remember that I was at the center, and at the center where I was at, they fucking hated primetime, bro.
Oh,
They hated Angela. They hated. They hated. It sounds bad, but
no.
they hated.
I think because I left him in teens,
Mhm.
and we kind of learned. Don't get me wrong. I don't like to talk shit about another gym or Angelo's a good dude at the end of the day, but a lot of people were saying like Primetime's not a real boxing gym, which
Yeah.
I mean it is, but it's not. And like we went to gyms that now we fighting every weekend now. That wasn't a thing at Primetime. Like
Yeah.
we fighting every weekend. We waking up at weight, and you could fight any given weekend, and we did.
Yep. So what I was saying, it's true. They was on my ass about that. So that day, you were fighting, and it was packed. Everybody from Primetime was there. It was packed.
I lost bad, by the way. I remember that.
It was just a whole bunch of people though,
Yeah.
and it made me so happy to see you guys
Yeah.
because I hadn't seen you guys in hella long, and I saw you guys, and then Robert was like giving me shit. He was like, "Why are you talking to them? Why did I'm like, bro, that's my fan, bro. Like, bro, I just, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do? Fucking not talk to him? Like, bro, that's my.
That's
people.
how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my peoples, bro. And when I fought, and everyone, you guys were all cheering me on and shit, and just showing me hella love. I don't know why, but that's one of the most special moments for me. I lost that fight, actually. I lost.
We both did.
Yeah, I lost that day. And I honestly, I don't know. How many losses are that special to people? And I think one of the reasons why it was that special is because of that incident. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I had 68 amateur fights, lost 11 total,
Yeah.
and that was one of them. But I remember that guy's name to this day, James Dill, and he had like 68 fights to my one at that time. And I don't even know how that allowed or
It was a tournament.
it was a tournament. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because I fought a dude with hella fights that day.
yeah, and I think that's what it was. Is we just
Mhm.
not that we didn't want to win, we didn't have the experience.
You know what's
And that
crazy?
matters
What
too.
I remember about that fight, I'm gonna share the story about the fight. I fought a dude that was already who had won the Silver Gloves twice the year before.
Yeah.
And I fought him that day, and that was his gym. And when the very first round, this was the first time I fought somebody at the time that kept switching stance. But if it was orthodox and he was southpaw orthodox, that shit fucked with me. I had never seen that before at that time.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? So I came back to the corner. Robert fucking chewed me out because he beat me in the first round. Robert was like, bro, he was like, you need to jab this fucker. You need to quit looking at his feet and you should start jabbing him. And I was like, okay. I started feeling myself. Second round, I actually gave him a standing 8 count.
Yeah.
I won the second round. Third round, I honestly feel like I was beating the fuck out of him because he was in between ropes. This fool almost fell out of the ropes. Like I was teeing off on him. But they wouldn't give him, the ref stopped the fight. And the ref, I thought they stopped it because they were going to give him an 8 count.
Yeah.
Who stopped it and just pushed us away. And they said it's because he was stuck on the ropes. I'm like, bro, I was teeing off on this fool. So they didn't count it as an 8 count or nothing. The fight was over. The fool was hella bleeding. I remember I had all his blood on my uniform. I gave it to him. And I lost. And when I lost, I was like, whatever, it's cool. I didn't let it get to me too much. But hella people came up to me. When people come up to you, tell you you did good, blah, blah, and they thought you won, whatever. But what really made it special to me is the fact that you guys were all there. I got to talk to you guys. I got to see you guys. To me, that shit was hella dope to me. I always thought that it was tight that we can be so competitive in the ring with each other, but on the outside, we can be hella like, that's my dog.
Yeah.
Without even seeing each other.
No.
Because we honestly don't see each other that often.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
mean,
don't even remember the last time I saw you. Shit.
I think San Francisco, you had a couple kids fighting.
Oh, yeah. That was the last time I saw you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. And by the way, that kid you had fighting that day was tight, bro. He
Thank
hit
you.
hard.
Thank you.
A little kid. Is he still fighting?
8 years old. Yeah.
Bro, that little kid. When I saw him, I was like, okay. I saw him hit mitts. I was like, all right. And the kid he fought looked like
Hometown kid.
Yeah. It looked like had better technique. I'm like, and I was with David. I told David, I'm like, damn, I kind of want to watch them. That looks like it's gonna be a good match. And your kid knocked him out, right? TKO or something like that. Dropped him
like 3 times. Yeah.
Yes, I remember something about dropping him.
Mm-hmm.
The little kid had power, bro.
I mean, he has power, but I don't know. I feel like that's another social media thing, right? Like I remember when we used to fight, and you see a kid doing like the Floyd Mayweather mitts, right? But then gets in the ring and they're just it's not working.
Yeah.
Coaching is everything. The way you do mitt work, there's a science to it, and it's like I love that a lot of people do things in boxing to attract for the camera, but it doesn't work, And I mean, I feel like as a coach now, the things that we know, the coaches that I got to be with, whoever we touch or whoever we do teach, they're gonna be good because we've been in it. I mean, think about it. We actually trained with people that didn't know that much shit about it. And I think that's a lot about a kid is if a kid really is good and they have the talent to be good, hopefully they see the right coach, you know, because there's a lot of coaches that I get it. They want to coach, but do they really have the mindset? Do they really have the tools that it takes to grow that kid?
I agree. Because I think to be a fighter and to be a successful boxer, you need a lot more than just a great boxer. The dude has to have a good coach, has to have a good everything. You know what I mean? There's more than just a fighter.
So many things have to happen right.
Like you said earlier, everything has to be right.
And that's like the number one thing it has to start with is your coach. Yep. And then you just have a whole bunch of battles that you're going to have to.
Managers, promoters, and everything. How did, now that we're kind of talking about that, how did Don King come in the picture? Like, how did that come about with you? How did that come about?
I just lost, I think it was the 2012 trials to Jesse Magdaleno. And it was time to turn pro. I was over the amateur stuff. I was, I'm mentally done. I want to turn pro. And luckily, my coach Taj at the time, Taj Fields in Marysville, rest in peace, had a connection. And he said, I'm going to put together a highlight video of you, and we're gonna see if they're interested in you. Cool. that's when they checked out the video. 2 weeks later, got a phone call. Hey, you're going to Vegas. Sparred a couple kids. Said they were interested. Cool. I'm down for whatever. Took a while to get that contract back, like what they were going to send. We had Dana Jameson is actually the president of Don King. She like handles all the stuff. King's just the face, but a girl named Dana, a girl of all people, right? And like in boxing, which I felt like was just like, oh,
interesting.
It's different, right?
Yeah.
And Dana is like a powerful woman. I mean, this girl is involved with all the belts, like WBC, IBF. Like she's in all the meetings and stuff. Very powerful woman in boxing. And finally got signed and got to meet her and got to talk to her, email her, and everything was good to go from there. But it was because of Taj, and
because I know he had signed. Didn't he have somebody else sign a Don King?
There was another fighter named George, but he was decorated. Like that kid was like when we talk about like remember Oscar Valdez and the heavyweight guy right now that beat Joshua. Ruiz. George was on that team, that Mexico Olympic team. Like George was a way more amateur standout than I was. Like George was, and we got to spar each other too.
Oh, so he was with Ruiz and Valdez. He was on that.
He knew all those guys. Like I remember seeing Valdez on one. Like remember
and he was from Marysville?
No, he was from Mexico, but I think he lives in LA now. But
how did he end up training with Taj?
No clue.
Oh.
No clue. That's a good question. I would like to ask that if he was still around. I'd like to ask that.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So that's how.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So he ended up training with him, got him, and
yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I was a solid amateur. You know what I mean? Solid. But I didn't have the 10 national titles, the 12 national titles.
Yeah, when you're on an Olympic team, that's
yeah.
that speaks for itself. Like
for sure,
was on an Olympic team. That shit's hella hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, I was doing nationals, but losing. I think I won one, and that was the PALs, and then got to go to the National Golden Gloves and stuff like that. But there's some kids that are just 10, 12 national champions that start 8, 9, 10 years old, and it's just like wow, they are to already have that mindset that young. And I feel like now we see that. Now I can train if I grab a kid like my 8-year-old now. Yeah, that's what we're going to do because now I know the steps. But that's why I say if you're an 8-year-old and you don't have a coach that has that same vision or doesn't know that vision or how to get there, you're kind of a fish running out of water.
Yeah. That's true. That is true, right? You fuck around and get the wrong coach, put you in the wrong situations.
Yeah.
And then you're wasting your years.
But I feel like that's the beautiful thing about boxing. As many lives as it takes, it also saves, right?
Yeah.
And not every person is meant to box. Not every person is meant to compete. But hopefully it did something for that kid in that moment of his life to change him a certain direction away.
Yeah. That's true.
But, yeah.
Probably did.
Oh, yeah.
Saved a lot of people. I mean, yeah, might as well. He probably could have done something bigger, but he saved his life from whatever he was going to be anyways.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to look at it. What I was thinking about what to name this episode. I was like, what the fuck should I name this episode with Stevie? What would you name this episode if you could give it any name?
It's a good question. I don't know. I was literally thinking about this last night. Like, man, what the fuck are me and Jose going to talk about that would seem like, man, these guys keep talking about people we have no clue about.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we've been around each other for a long time, but it's like all of our stories are going to include people that people are going to be like, huh? This makes no sense. These guys are just talking.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I was gonna name it Gym Wars.
Oh, for sure.
I was gonna name it that.
Yeah. Gym Wars. Yeah. I mean,
because Mike Ortega.
Yeah.
He used to always tell me too. He's like, man, I love watching you and Stevie fucking spar. You guys would beat the fuck out of each other. Remember that time? He was like, hey, I remember that time he went to Mateen's. He was even training. He went just to watch us spar.
I think
actually, I have the picture in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna put it on the podcast. That day he actually just went to go watch us spar because that's how much he enjoyed watching the spar. He told me. Yeah. Mad love to Mike.
To
by
Mike,
the way.
Yeah.
He's in close to you. Oh, he's in East Sac.
He's in East Sac. Yeah. I mean, but another guy that we grew up with. He was a little older, but also still involved. And
I'm telling you, bro. Prime time, yes, they the things they say about how it was, but I think they had the right vision of what they wanted to do. They just were having a hard time grooming amateurs when they were trying to get the fitness game going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
for
they
sure.
kind of faded away from boxing more into a commercialized way. You know what I'm saying?
And you can't be mad at that. Like doing
exactly.
doing this now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to make money.
Yeah.
You know, and boxing, training fighters. Like
Doesn't
we
make
go
money.
back to, 20 minutes ago. There's not a lot of there's not a lot of money in boxing like
Yeah.
people think there is.
Yeah, there's no money
No,
at all.
it's a love. You do it for free. You know.
You get the fuck beat out of you for fun.
Yeah.
And honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, what I was saying is, yes, and this goes back clearly to what you're saying. As many people as it kills, it saves. But look at the impact they made on so many people in a positive way. Because honestly, they had a squad of people that all turned out. There's only a couple that kind of fell off the wagon.
Yeah.
But for the ones they had, all ended up. Fabian has his gym.
Yep.
Mike has his gym.
Yep.
You have your gym. Mario fought pro.
Yep.
Ross is in Vegas.
Still doing it.
I'm here. We all still doing something
Yeah.
along the lines with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Bro, that has to say something of the kind of seeds they planted in our heads.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's why I say.
And that's one thing I give credit on Angelo. He did always talk to us in a certain way. You know, his conversations were dope.
We still both use, like I say, if you're not early or you're not on time, you're late. You know, all that little things. Or Angelo was awesome because he made us grow up as men. Like I didn't know, but I didn't have a father. Like I had a father, but not he just made us grow up. You know, if we broke something, oh, you fix it right then and there. What do you mean I can't box today? Nah, you broke a board in the gym. Well, who cares? It's a board. No, you're fixing it. Like, and you're painting it. Clean up after everything you do. You know, all that little things.
Yeah, that's one thing Angelo was like.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm going to share this story. My car had a Camaro and my alternator went out.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually outside here. I was outside this gym, 2006, I think it was. And this is when I was working here. And I was 16 years old. And alternator went out. I don't know what the fuck to do. I didn't have a father figure either. I didn't have shit. I don't know what the fuck to do with a car going, my broke-ass car. He started helping me with it. He's like, oh, this car needs an alternator. I'm like, okay, so what do I do? I call a mechanic, tell him to change it. He's like, no. He's like, you're going to change that shit. What you mean? I'm like, me? The fuck? I don't even know what an alternator is. What do you mean? What the fuck am I going to change that shit? He's like, yeah. We went to AutoZone, picked up the part. He paid for it, by the way. He bought me the alternator, and I thought he was about to change it for me.
Yeah.
I thought this is what I thought, because I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. And popped the hood. Kerry was sitting in the car. He comes up to me, and he's like, all right, Jose, you're going to disconnect this. You're going to do this. You're going to do this, and let me do it. He led me step by step on how to do it. And that moment in my life stuck with me. Because I'm like, this guy that's just a boxing trainer literally just showed me how to change an alternator. He taught me something.
Yeah.
And it made such an impact in my life. And I think that's when right there in my life, I learned how to be a teacher. I swear. Because right there I realized he didn't tell me how to do it. He showed me, and then he made me do it. He didn't just say, oh, you need to go to AutoZone and get an alternator. I could have easily just been like, okay, call somebody, go get it, pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
He literally popped it, pointed step by step, and he didn't do it. He told me what to do.
Yeah.
And as I got older, and now as a coach, I do that.
Yeah.
Even when I teach somebody how to wrap their hands, I don't wrap their hands for them, ever.
Oh, really?
Even on their first day.
I should do the same.
I'm dead serious, bro.
Yeah.
When someone is new and they're learn how to wrap their hands, I notice that people, trainers, will do it for them. Okay,
Yep.
so you can do it once around the wrist, whatever you're teaching them, and you're doing it for them as you're telling them. I don't do that shit. There's 2 wraps. I said, this is your wrap, this is my wrap, and I'm going to show you, and you follow along. And then I do it, they follow along, and then I take the wrap off when they're done, and I give them the wrap, Now you do your second hand. And if you have questions, you ask me because I'm right here to ask now. But I'm not going to be doing it for you. And that right there is similar to the alternator story.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I mean. That's the day I realized and learned from Angelo how to become a good teacher. I was a teacher. I actually got taught how to be a teacher that day.
I'm actually gonna steal that from you now. So
No, hey, bro, do it. I like sharing knowledge, bro. But it's real, bro. It's so much bigger that way.
No, I think that's the beautiful thing about teaching. Sometimes is like some people are gonna understand it like, my coach didn't even wrap my hands. He's lazy.
Yeah.
Right. He's not helping me. But no, I'm making you do it so you understand it, and
Yeah.
you will be able to do it by yourself the next time you have to do it.
Exactly.
Instead of needing me there, and you're a lost puppy without me.
Yep.
You know, but it's hard sometimes.
It is.
Some people aren't gonna see that.
And then I think if you communicate it in the way you communicate it, one of the biggest things, and I have a hard time doing this. I mean, I'm really good at doing it, but I have a hard time doing it with a lot of people because I be hella busy and I don't have time to talk to a hella people. But one of the biggest parts that will help you with that is you communicate to them on why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So, for example, I'm not going to be like, I'm not helping you with the reps. You got to figure that shit on your own. That can crush a kid and be like, damn, my trainer's a dick. Like, he doesn't like me. He's making me rap my own shit. Or you tell him that, see how he acts, and then when you see that he's heartbroken and he's like all down, you pull him aside, not in front of people, take him to the back room, outside, whatever the fuck you want to do with him, and you tell him, do you know why I'm doing that to you? Do you know why? And they're going to be like, they'll tell you, oh, you don't like me? I don't know. Whatever they're feeling, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And that's when you explain to them. And when you communicate to them like that, they appreciate it. And once they appreciate it, they respect you and then they love you. And that's something they will never take away.
For sure. Absolutely.
Ever.
Absolutely.
Now you're not the same coach that earlier fucking hated him.
Yeah.
Now it's like, damn, I get it. He fucking loves me.
Yeah.
He actually does love me. He was doing this for my own good.
Yeah.
And people are selfish. Once they know that you're doing it for them, they're like, oh, fuck, I fucking like this guy now because this guy's doing it for me. Selfish motherfucking people. But it's true. People like when you do things for them. And that's the way. And when you explain it to them in that way and they understand it, that's when the love and everything starts falling into place. But anyways, I just feel like I just blabbered off.
Good, man. It's good.
I'm going to start asking you random questions. You down?
Please do. Please do.
Before I do that, though, I want you to tell me if you can recommend any tips, or not recommend, but give anybody any tips or anything to have a successful business, or to have, you know what, not successful business. Let's do this. Someone that gave their life to something, and that something did not work out, like you did with your boxing career, and then it ended up planning out. How did you manage to make that transition from a boxing fighter, to a business now, to a boxing trainer and a coach and a mentor? How what would you tell somebody at that road right now? They're like, damn, this didn't work out. What do I do? And they're talking to Stevie right now. What is Stevie going to tell them?
Man, I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Failures, and I know it's hard to tell that person who's failing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's actually, you're going to succeed at the end of the day, but you can't tell nobody that when they're failing. It's like, I ain't trying to hear that. You know, nah. I think I just had to, I knew I wasn't average person. You know, I knew I wasn't an average person. And I think everyone feels that way in life, which you're not average. You're going to be really good at fucking something.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to find that something. And if you keep failing, you're going to find that something that you're not going to fail at anymore. But I think the most important thing is everyone rushes into something, right? Let's say boxing, for instance, right? Put a pair of gloves on, take a picture, put it on the Instagram. They're a boxer today, right? They got an identity of a boxer now. But really, they should have waited 6 months, because took that picture, and then everyone would have looked at that picture like, man, that person knows what they're doing. Other than like, a lot of people might look at that person like, oh man, you know, if he took it after one day, like he doesn't really know what he's doing. So I think the principle in a lot of things is like calmer, slower, but more deliberate at the end of the day. And not everything is a sprint. Like, and I hate to use the the term if it's a marathon, but it really is. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It's true. By the way, for the record, when I was growing up, we were not allowed to have phones and take pictures in the gym
We weren't even allowed to bring it out of the bag.
or anything.
No.
No pictures, no nothing. That's why I have a horrible. I don't have no pictures that are shit like that. I don't have that many.
I feel if we lived in today's era, that's why I always look at it, and I'm maybe just call me old now, but I look at these kids and I'm doing the same thing you're doing. We're trying to guide kids, and so many of them have an identity that has to live through Instagram and Facebook and these things. It just makes them, that's who they are, right? They post that picture like me today, right? They have to find some type of
how many followers they have and stuff like
that. And I hear all my kids talking about it every day. Oh, you don't follow me back, or you don't follow me, or I don't follow that guy. It's just like, it's very odd, but
different era.
Yeah, it's super, and I don't understand it. Yeah. I don't know if it's for the best, but I don't understand it.
Yeah. Back to random questions. What's your favorite restaurant in Sac or in this area?
Oh, good question.
Don't think too hard. First question that comes in your mind, you just drop it. First place that comes in your mind, you just drop it.
I gotta be. I'm there all the time. Tres Más, right by the gym.
Oh yeah.
I'm just there. It's consistent to me. I'm right by the gym.
Where do you get there? Where's your plate?
Oh man, 2 enchiladas. Asada enchiladas.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's a dish, huh?
Yeah.
I need to go try it out. Tell me something about.
Let's go. When you're down there, I'm taking you.
All right, bro.
Let's
you said it. I'm down. All right. Tell me something about Stevie. Not that many people know. Share something.
Good question. Man. I'm a simple dude. I'm a simple dude. I think that's in life right now at 30. I'm both instead of running trying to find yourself, I think that's what probably we're both doing right now. What is most important? I say you got a family, man. Beautiful family, by the way.
Thank you, bro.
I love watching your family on through Instagram and through Facebook and the stuff you do, man. I think that's it's really awesome to see that out of you.
Yeah,
really.
Thank you, bro.
And I was actually thinking last night too, to ask Jose, the 13, 14, 15-year-old Jose, when I knew him. And now I'm hearing your podcast of what you were dealing with growing up, being a dreamer, being all this stuff. And not a lot of people know I'm really close to a lot of people in Colombia. I go
it's funny you brought that up. I was about to ask you about Colombia.
And I go very often. And hopefully one day, I know I have kids to support, not support here, but be here for. But I do want to go try to live there for at least, 2 years and just do it. But
what about Colombia like so much?
Man, I think it allows you to love what you do have here.
It makes you appreciate it more.
But also America's full of shit too.
Yeah.
We put in our mind, I can cuss and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, you can say whatever the fuck you want. I cuss
everybody
all the time.
thinks about right? So I just said Colombia. So first thing comes to mind is cocaine.
Yeah.
Right, Pablo. Right?
Girls.
Obviously.
Oh, yeah. Don't let my wife know.
For sure. And people should go to witness that.
Hey, but I'm honest, bro. I tell people straight up, I don't hide shit, and I'm straight up blunt about everything. So that's what comes to my mind. There's women and and then cocaine.
But to have a successful relationship, it takes that. You know what I mean?
Does.
And
so first thing that comes to mind for people is that and
cocaine, Pablo Escobar. Oh my God, what the fuck are you doing there? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And my first time there, I'm thinking man, I didn't stay at a hotel. I stayed at Airbnb. And I'm looking around this Airbnb and I'm thinking, man, this thing's really nice. like this is not Colombia, right? And I was just caught off guard by, it looks ghetto. It does. It looks ghetto, but it's not. It's just they're way more into art. They're way more in the artistic view. Bob Marley's a huge culture there, which you would never really, I didn't know, but it's the whole, I don't want to use reggaeton, but the reggae, it's a huge music culture there. And half of Colombia is black.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah. A lot of black people.
Yeah. So me learning more and more about the culture, I falling in love with it. I've got some good friends there. And
my wife loves Colombia, by the way.
Does she?
Yeah, loves Colombia. We had a conversation once. I'm like, if you could be from any country in the world or go visit any country in the world, she always says Colombia.
I feel that. I think
She loves Colombia.
I'm on the same.
And she
same
loves
page.
Shakira too. Shakira's Colombian.
Okay, yeah, and she's like respected over
Mhm.
there. You know, like
Yeah.
she's like Queen Bee. You know,
So
she's-
what part of you go to Medellin?
No, I'm mostly in Bogota. I
No,
mostly go to
Bogota.
Bogota. I've been to Medellin. I've been to a lot of different cities. You know, Cali.
You have a soccer team out there yet?
You know, I haven't. That's the one thing I have not done.
I
Is
was about to ask you
yeah.
because I'm gonna tell you one thing. When you go to and you're in Latin countries,
I was
this
there for
is-
the World Cup though.
when you're in Latin countries and you are from anywhere in a Latin country, your hood, wherever you're from, has a soccer team.
Yeah.
It's automatic, bro.
Yeah.
And you know everything about the person as soon as they tell you their soccer team. Like, oh, my soccer team is this. And then you start to like, okay, have all these fucking what are they called? When you say you start assuming someone's a certain way. I fucking went blank. Anyways, but you got to get a soccer team, bro. Out of Colombia.
I do.
Deportivo Cali or America or something out there.
Yeah, I think it's sad that I haven't even been to a game yet.
Yeah, bro.
But-
Colombia's got good soccer teams.
It's
too,
all
bro.
over. It's all over, and it's. There's no excuse why I shouldn't be there. But there's so many things to do there, though. Like
Mhm.
so many different things.
So what do you do in Colombia?
Man, I mostly hang out with my friends, obviously, right? But I love going. Kind of weird, but I love going to places I'm not supposed to be. Like, you know what I mean?
Hey.
Like it's like if I'm a white guy and I'm gonna go to Sinaloa, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I want to see what this is really about, right?
Yeah.
So in Colombia, I've been like to Cali, and I went to a place that is Buenaventura, right? Is a port, one of the biggest ports in the world that no one really knows about because it's ran by the cartel. So this is a city now. There's police there, like maybe just a couple of years ago. But when I first went there, there's no police, there's no army, there's no nothing. If something happens, something happens. You know what happened to the guy? I don't know. But it also too made me kind of appreciate Colombia because it's like, okay, yeah, you can go to Bogota, things are normal, right? Things are normal, like just like here. I'm not gonna say just like here but they're normal.
Yeah.
Functioning police, functioning banks, all the above. You go to Buenaventura, all of a sudden you're seeing kids walk around that you know are not okay. Like I've seen like just kids with like bones on their legs. Like I don't know what was eating their leg, but man, it's sad, right? And then you have literally people living under tents and under nothing. Or their house is, we're talking no air, no AC, no heat, there's nothing, right? Cars, same thing. I mean, dude, we're driving a car and you're just happy to have a car and I don't even know how this thing's running, but it's running. And, but it also, I mean, you meet the coolest people in the world that have nothing, but they feel like they got everything, bro. Like you're laughing with them. They have, we're going to go to this restaurant, this place. And I'm like, man, this place.
That's what I realize about my fam too.
Yeah.
About that, like when poor people, the people that are got nothing, they're
Mhm.
poor, they got nothing. I'm like, how the fuck are you guys so happy? Like I see my family. I'm not saying my family, but like people like in Mexico, like they having the time of their life, and they're like don't have nothing, no car, no nothing. They're eating the same food they've been eating for the past month. And they're happy as fuck. They're happy as fuck. I'm like, damn.
And at the end of the day, it's kind of sad because it's like we're blessed here, right? We get to go. I mean, we could go to Tahoe today,
we go
San Francisco the next day, and not even thinking about it, right? Gas, nothing, money. $80 changes someone's month out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, oh, you gave me what? You know, or so I always do that stuff when I'm there. Like for one of my friends, like I'll make sure their fridge is completely full of food. Like I will always bring boxing equipment back over there, or just because they don't have the same. It's not as easy to go get, right? But they see what we have and they want it.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you feel like we get blinded by things on TV that make us want shit?
Absolutely. That's
right?
why. Yeah, that's why. Like when I said America's full of shit, because like I said, the only things I knew about Colombia were all bad. And then I went and I was like, okay, Bogota's normal.
Yeah.
Anyone can
And I
live
think
here.
they do that on purpose. I mean, it sounds bad, but I believe so too. Because when I talk to my family in Mexico and stuff like that, like I said, they're poor and everything, and they're happy as fuck. But they say the same thing. They're like, they put that U.S. is on a pedestal like it's perfect, and then U.S. puts everybody else like it's horrible. Like Mexico, you getting motherfuckers killed left and right. Yeah, that shit does happen.
Yeah.
But
Same
it's
stuff.
not like every day, they don't
Same
just go
stuff here.
around chopping everyone's head off just cause like, oh, let me chop your head off, let me chop your head off. It's not like that.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? But they make it seem that way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I get it, man. It's a sad. I don't want to get political because I start going off.
No, but
People think I'm a conspiracy theorist.
no, but back to where, because growing up with you at 13, 14, 15, like now I'm hearing your podcast, now I'm listening and to social media. Luckily, right?
Mm.
I'm thinking like, man, Jose was going through a lot of shit in his mind mentally.
Yeah.
Like, no wonder why you were pissed off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, bro, like you were pissed off. Like
Yeah.
the things I'm mad about, not growing up with a dad, and love my mama if she hears it. I mean,
Yeah.
welfare, the whole shit. Like, it sucks to grow up that way. But
Yeah.
you, it's like times 10 on top of that.
Yeah.
And
It's funny you bring that up. I mean, it's funny to think of it now because people that have known me from at that age,
yeah, but I didn't know.
I didn't share it with nobody. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
but we shared it in a different way.
Mhm.
But I think now we know how to express ourselves.
Yeah.
Now you understood why I was mad. But then it was like,
What's wrong with
I just
this
want
guy?
to fight, bro. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. I know because people now, if they see me, I'm happy all the time now.
Yeah.
I'm always talkative, happy, and people are like, "Why are you so happy all the time?" Like, have you ever been mad? But I'm like, bro, I've been past that point in my life. Like, I've been an angry Jose. I've been a Jose that wanted to fight everybody. I've been in a Jose that gets mad over stupid shit. That never got me anywhere. Like, I'm over that. I've been angry. I already experienced that. That's why, like, now I'm gonna get political. Fuck it. Now,
Let's go. Round one.
now when people are like so angry about like, oh, you're voting for Trump or you're voting for Biden, and there's all this tensions between people, and they're like, oh, Jose, why don't you get mad? Why aren't you all into it? I'm beyond that.
Yeah.
I already fought people over stupid shit like that. I already fought people over calling me a wetback. I already fought people over stupid shit. And it gets you nowhere fighting somebody. It gets you nowhere being angry and full of hate.
I think, most importantly, you fought yourself too.
Yes,
Right.
it doesn't get you nowhere. And I think a lot of people that are experiencing in this right now in the U.S. for the first time is exactly that. They're experiencing it for their first time.
Yeah.
They're experiencing this for their first time and they don't know how to deal with it. They feel like you need to be angry. And if you don't stand up for this, you don't stand up for pedophiles, or you don't stand up against pedophiles. You don't stand up against racism. You don't stand up against this because you don't talk up about it. But really, you are following a system that they're putting in place, regardless if you vote for this person or that person. That's what they want you to do. They want you to be angry that way. They want us to be segregated that way.
Yeah.
You need to see the big picture. The big picture is we shouldn't be angry at each other. And that's why I'm thankful for that, because I already experienced an angry portion of my life that people that have known me for a long time seen it before. I'm over being angry. I'm over fighting people. I'm over all that. I'm a happy motherfucker now.
Oh, for sure. And you can see it.
Yeah, I don't need that.
But look how much stuff you had to go through, and luckily you had boxing.
Yeah.
As like, I guess like the anchor, right? But if you didn't, you would just be like all the
Everybody
other
else.
statistics.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Amen, bro.
And-
Amen.
And that's why, bro, I love seeing your family. I love seeing like what you have today.
Mhm.
And it's like, just like you're talking about how Robert used to be like, don't talk to other gyms.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I could never be like,
Yeah. What you mean?
fuck Jose Morales Boxing Academy.
Yeah.
It's Midtown. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Because
exactly.
I know you were around a lot of the same people I was around. Like
Mhm.
one of my coaches that I grew up absolutely loves you, Mateen.
Yeah.
Right? Mateen is like raised me as a man.
Mhm.
Loves you.
Yeah.
And he always says like, man, Jose is just a special dude.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah. I
You know?
love Mateen. Another reason, a lot of people hate Mateen.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Dislike him. And I've had people always tell me, don't fuck with Mateen.
Stay
Mateen,
away.
Da-da-da, da-da-da. And the way I judge people is how someone treats me.
Same.
I'm like, I don't know, whatever you got to say about him, whatever y'all did, that's y'all problem.
Yep.
But Mateen to me has always been solid. Always been solid to me.
Yeah.
He never done something shady to me.
Yeah.
And he's always been respectful. Same thing with his son Yusuf. They've always showed hella mad love to me, mad love. And one thing, I'm going to say it on here, one thing that I will never forget Mateen did for me, when I was 20 years old, and I actually ended up training with him. I ended up going to Mateen's, and I was 20 years old, and I was working at the smog shop at the time, and I was trying to get extra money because I was struggling. And I had people that I had trained before, and he was like, yo, why don't you train him here? Get some extra cash. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, just train him here. I'm like, all right. I'm like, well, how much are you going to charge me for rent? Like, how's that going to work? He said, nothing, man.
Yeah.
Here's the key. He gave me the key to the gym. He said, do your thing. And for like 3 months, bro, he let me train people. And not once did he ask me for a dollar, nickel, nothing.
Yeah. Nah, I mean,
and things like that. It was like, bro, how can I not like this dude? What did he ever do to me? Nothing. So that's why for me, Mateen, bro, as much as he loves me, I feel the same way for him, bro.
Yeah.
I have mad love for Mateen.
nah, I'm lucky to have him, you know. Yeah. And me and him have been through a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of ups, a lot of downs. But at the end of the day, that will be one man that when he is not here, I will miss dearly. Just our conversations. It's like, I don't want that time to ever happen, but it's like that person just, you know, I've done so much in life with.
Yep.
And he's turned me into, I feel like a lot of the person I am today is because of things he did.
Yep.
You know.
Very true, bro. All right, man, that was a lot of good stuff right there. There's anything you want to add to this before we end it? You want to say?
I was just, because we kind of got off on Colombia, but I think at the end of the day of Colombia, I think that's probably why your wife is like, I'm Colombian, right? Yeah, I mean, me too.
I told her I ain't got no problem with a Colombian female. Nah. Nah, I'm like,
they probably won't either. But when you go there, if you go there to anybody, I think that's the most beautiful thing over there is their people that hold on to their culture.
That's don't get me get political. Don't get political again. But it's true.
Yeah.
They're making us erase our culture here. They're making us forget about who we are.
Well, I think too, for a lot of people who haven't left America, you realize we don't have culture here.
No, bro.
You know?
No.
So I've been to other countries now after Colombia, before Colombia, and Colombia is still my favorite because the people. Yep. Like the people are gonna let you know.
Man, I'm jealous because I can't travel.
What?
Yeah, bro, I can't travel.
Okay, I'm in Puerto Rico.
And let me tell you something. There's this song by a Mexican song, Los Tigres del Norte, and it talks about being undocumented in Mexican, and it talks about how you live in a great country, you have all these things. He's like, but no matter how much money you make in America, no matter how great it is, the cage, the golden cage could be made out of gold, but it's still a cage. And those that don't know what that means is we are stuck here. So yes, we may be making money here, we may be doing everything great here, which I'm thankful for. I'm not saying I'm not thankful for that, because I am.
Yeah.
But I can't leave. I can't see my family in Mexico. I can't travel. I can't go anywhere. I got to be in the U.S. Like I said, where I was 7 years ago was a lot worse, because 7 years ago I didn't even have a license. And every time I even looked at a fucking cop car, I'll get my car impounded.
You
know what I mean?
Watching that podcast with the police officer.
So before, it was a lot worse. I'm thankful that it's not like that no more. But I'm still in a cage. Yeah, the cage is made out of gold and is a beautiful cage, but it's still a cage.
So can I ask, I personally want to know, I'm sure a lot of people listen to the podcast, what is the next 2 years? Are you going to be allowed to? Is it going to be something you can future do?
That's the thing that sucks, bro. There's no certainty. If I get a dick president, he could revoke that and I go back to 7 years ago's Jose with no license, no nothing. Or it could be worse. I get a bitch ass president and I get deported and I lose everything. I lose my business. I lose my home that I lose everything, and I get dropped off at TJ. Figured it out, which I don't mind. I'll figure that bitch out. That's the way I am. But there's no certainty. There's no in 2 years you're gonna be fine. In 5 years you're gonna be fine. There is no the real answer to that question is I don't know. I don't know. Which is whatever.
That's hard to live with, though.
Hell yeah.
You know, like me being what a lot of people are going to say, right? White boy handed everything, blah, blah, blah. but they don't. I mean, it's just you're going through a whole bunch of like
Yeah.
that. I think that's the hardest thing though. Is not only is that patience, obviously, but it's not in your control.
It's no control, bro. Zero control.
It's not fair.
Yeah, there's nothing that is like I can literally be like, oh yeah, I want to do this because of this. Like it's not up to me, bro.
Yeah.
People got to vote on it. People got to do this and then they got it's politics on a human's life. Politics on a human's life. I always tell people all the time, I feel like dogs and cats have more rights than I do in the U.S.
Let's be real though, and
they will take him to the vet. They won't take my ass to the vet.
Man.
They'll take my ass to TJ, bro.
So yeah, like I'm gonna take it a little step further because okay, I'm a white guy, right? Grew up. I'm not gonna say in the hood, but I'm gonna say in the neighborhood. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say in the neighborhood. Like I didn't grow up in. I'm gonna just say Roseville, right? Where there's not even all that. I mean, it's nice here, right? But I grew up. So me being a white guy, going to dominantly Mexican, black schools, all the above. I mean, bro, all my friends are all Mexican, Salvadorian, black. And people, like, what's going on in the world right now? Do white people have more opportunity? Fuck yeah. Right? Just by looking at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a gym probably because I was able to build relationships with certain people, but it was so easy. I'm not going to say so easy because it's not, but so easier than if my name was Jose Morales and I'm from, this and that. It has to be.
Yeah.
Has to be. And that's why, like, man, it's awesome what you're doing.
Yeah,
awesome,
thank you, bro. It means a lot coming from you. Thank you, bro.
You know, and I'm not putting anything like myself, like, oh, you were giving it, because I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But I know for sure it was easier than what you had to go through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And today I was going to ask, and I had to ask it. I don't know if you've talked about it because I haven't heard it. Why did you change primetime? Like, why were you like, okay, I'm Jose Morales now? Like, what was the real definition behind that? The real, like.
Yeah. I talked about it, but the way it came about is when it was primetime, it never felt like mine. Even though it was mine, 100% mine, it had nothing to do with them no more, nothing. It was mine. It never felt like mine. Never. It didn't feel like mine. Yeah. No matter what I moved, no matter what I painted, no matter what I did, it didn't feel like mine. And now the gym still looks the same as when it was prime time. I mean, obviously I moved shit and painted shit, but it's still the same place. But when I put my name on it, you have no idea how much it changed.
I'll bet.
Completely. That was the best decision I made this far as a business owner, is putting my name on it.
I was happy to see it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we all know the name, but I was like, yeah. Because you didn't, I'm not going to say you didn't grow up in that culture, but like that primetime culture, because you didn't. You got more fights with other gyms, with other, and it's like, yeah, primetime was, as I guess, real boxing. It's got a bad name, as far as the real, and that's what you're more into now. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what made me change it. And it made me be my vision, what I want to do and how I want to change and impact people's lives. I'm not focused on commercializing or fitness and growing. Not that is wrong, but that's not like my main focus. It's not like I need to franchise my business. If I don't franchise it, that's not my focus.
Yeah.
And I feel like another thing too, I don't know if I said this in the podcast in the past, but I would go to fights and people will right away connect me with Angelo and Kerry. And there were people that did not like them. And right away, suddenly, all my fighters lost that day. As weird as that sounds. You know what I mean? So I was like, the fuck?
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with them.
And
you know what I'm saying?
Just like you were talking about earlier, like I treat people how this person treats me.
Yeah.
Right? But that's the world we live in today. Oh, I don't like him, so I don't like you.
Yep.
And
And I think that's like an old school type of way to think. I think back in the day, a lot of motherfuckers thought.
But I think today we have more and more and more of that because social media.
Yeah.
It's like
hate.
Yeah, like, why'd you like his picture?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Follow him.
Yeah.
You follow him?
Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
It's a weird era. It's a weird era, you know. Do you ever, like, you got 2 kids.
Uh-huh.
Is it scary?
In what way?
Like, this fucking world that, like, I'm not saying it's crazy because it's not, all right? We're going to go through 10 times things more worse than this further down the road. But, like, as a man that you're a father, right? So we're taking this now personally, right? Because it's like, yeah, kids go through shit. But if it's my kid, it means something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you be a father? Like, my question to you, Jose, is, like, you got 2 kids now. As a father, what's, like, the principle that you got to do to make sure, like, you know what, my kids are going to be all right. I'm going to make them get the grip of life. I'm going to make them realize how lucky they are, but at the same time, shit's real.
Yeah. Well, the thing for me that I try to do is just talk to them a lot. I do dates with them. I try to be with them a lot.
Dope.
You know what I mean? I think one thing that people... I had another conversation recently about that too. Is like, is the world really scarier now? Or has it always been this scary from the past or now? And I think that scares people in having more kids, or do they want to have kids? And honestly, I just do the best as I can do to lead by example, show them, talk to them. I can't really ever protect them forever on of everything. And I think that's a problem that us as parents or as adults have on bringing kids to this world, or having kids and worrying about this, because we're like, I'm not going to be there to protect them forever. And it creates this fear. And fear is based off stress of something. Like, stress that something's worrying you is a fear. Fear, you worrying about something creates stress, and that's what makes you not want to, you know what I mean, do whatever it is that you're doing. And I don't try not to think of that shit. I try not to think of bad shit. I just know that I'm going to lead by example, do good things, show them that I'm a good person, show them what you need to do. I try to create a lot of traditions with my kids, a lot of traditions. What I mean by traditions is, like you said earlier, we don't have no tradition here. So I do traditions that I made up. One is, you're going to have a date with your mom every week and a date with your dad every week. And when you have kids, you better have a date with each one of your kids.
Oh, yeah.
And each one of your parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And things like that, values. I pray with them every night. And then I just talk to them about what's right, what's wrong, and by being a good person and being happy. And I feel like if you teach your kids that, you don't have to worry about, are they going to turn out good? You showed them what good is.
Yeah.
And you showed them what to make right and good and right decisions. Now, the things that you can't handle, like, oh, people kidnapping my kids, or people killing my kids, or, you know, that's things that people worry about. That's a worry that it will happen to anybody at any time. And it sounds kind of fucked up, but the sooner you can realize that we are all going to die at one point, and it's true, we're all going to die at one point. Don't let that, the sooner you realize that and accept that, you got to realize and understand and accept it. And yes, we're all going to go out different ways. Some could be a very foul way. Some could be very slow, painful way, quick way, nice way, whatever way. But all ways is the same way. We're all going to be dead at one point. And as long as you realize that and accept it, it's okay, man. I mean, the best you can do is just enjoy time. And I'm happy. Look, I talked to my wife about having more kids. She don't want to. Not because the world's crazy, but because she doesn't like the whole process, because the last one was really bad, my second baby. But I don't mind having a big family, and I don't mind. It's a thing that I would hate to, like, say I didn't have no kids and not have kids because I was scared that this could happen to my kid.
For sure.
Or this could happen. I'm like, yeah, because of all these things happening, you didn't never experience a first birthday. You never experience a hug and kiss from your daughter or son. You never experienced this just because of this fear. Again, what does that sound like? That sounds like, I didn't open a business ever because, I could have failed. I never sparred because, I could have got my ass kicked. I never, you know what I mean? This sounds the same.
I mean, especially in boxing, it's like, if you go to a bar or go watch a boxing fight, everyone there has boxed more than you.
Yeah, everyone's an expert. No, but it's true though. That's the way I see it with parents, with parenting and all that. I'm like, I can sit here and think about all the bad things that can happen to my kids, but I'm sitting here and I'm focusing on all the good things that's happening with them, and that it's happening with us together as a four.
Yeah.
So I look at it that way. I don't look at it as all the bad shit that could happen, because there's a gang of bad shit that could happen.
Oh, for sure. But I love the way you're doing it, man. I think
Mhm.
it's just a real genuine, and the principles that you're showing, you know, just loving your woman too is
Yeah.
awesome.
And
You know?
that's something that's a work in progress every day, bro.
For sure.
Some days she fucking hates me. I hate her. Next day I love her. She loves me. And it goes back and forth.
You can't
And
live
then
with
as
him,
you
can't
know-
live without him.
And then, as you know, being around women in what we do
Yeah.
is even harder.
It is.
Because now, I could sit here and talk about that for a whole nother hour. Because now you're talking to all these women, and her self-esteem and confidence has to be there just as much. Otherwise, now she's fucking, you already know, it's just one thing after another.
It can go on and on, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I felt coming today. I was like, man, what the fuck are me and Jose going to talk about? You know
Bro,
that?
we talked about a lot of shit. We
But-
talked a lot about the shit, and
Yeah.
it was good conversations.
For sure.
How can
sure.
people stay in touch with super Rapadas? How can we stay in touch with you, baby?
I'm on Instagram. I got a gym Instagram, Midtown Fitness. And
Mhm.
then my personal is SUPA. Then my last name, Rapadas, RAPADAS. And then so Super Rapadas. On Facebook, I'm just Rapadas, you know.
Mhm.
I like being the last name. But
Yeah, that's tight.
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
One thing I'm gonna say before I end it, do you remember when we would switch shoes? You wore one of my shoes and I wore one of your shoes, like a red
Man.
and blue. Do you remember that?
You just brought it back, but you're absolutely right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So we did that, and then I ended up doing it in my soccer team also. With my, it was the dude I was playing with. We were both in the midfield, and we ended up doing it. But I was like, I'm gonna bring that up to Stevie, see if he remembers.
I'm gonna bring up some other, like, you were Rico Suave, bro. Like, in the gym. Nah, you were. Like, seriously, Jose would walk in with like a hat a certain way. Next week, everybody would be wearing a hat the same way. And then, like, I think with even raps, you had like a black rap, a yellow rap,
Yeah,
and
I would do
everyone would do that again. And it was
a
like,
trendsetter.
you made it. You probably did it just because his raps weren't washed and stunk
Yeah.
hella bad. But then it became a trend. Like, that looks cool,
Yeah,
you know.
I
and
do remember that.
I mean, bro, you were Rico Suave with everything. I mean,
Thank you for the love, bro.
Mhm.
Hey, and it made me so happy to have you here talking to you, bro.
Cool,
This shit,
cool.
you know, this has probably got to be one of the most special podcasts I've done.
cool,
For
man.
real, bro.
Same.
And mad love. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I know you had stuff to do. So thank you for coming through. Again, everybody, if you have not checked out his gym, Midtown Fitness in Midtown, Super Rapadas is over there. Much love. Thank you guys for listening, and we out.